What is going on, collective? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Belligerence. Like, comment, share, and or subscribe. Alright, so since the last couple videos or whatever, I had a few dreams. Most of it was BS, nothing really to mention. But there was one dream in particular that I had to revisit. And I remember almost like a month or so, maybe a couple weeks or so ago, I said something about having a dream about running over a snake and a snake dying, right? Well, the other day I had a dream about a snake that was buried, that was it's like, it was still a dead snake, but there was a tree. It was like a dead tree that grew up out of the ground, and it had like a snake pierced into it and pierced through it. So basically, the vibe I was getting with that was that, basically the vibe I was getting with that is that somebody tried to, I don't know if somebody was like doing some kind of work, like burying something under a tree, or if they were trying to revive the work or pick up the work that somebody who was doing the magic past, like somebody was doing magic or whatever, and they ended up dying from it, right? And I guess whoever was sent to doing the work or whatever, whoever paid them to do the work, whatever, paid somebody else to do the work that that person had been doing. And so without really doing, I mean, maybe they gave you due diligence and they were looking into your life or whatever, but what they didn't look into was what happened to the last person. They took it at, voice, you know what I'm saying? Like at a word value, basically, right? But they didn't look into what happened to the last person who attacked you. They just said, okay, yeah, I'll take the contract, or I'll work or whatever. And they came to an agreement or whatever, and they negotiated whatever it may be, right? So when they started doing this work, remember I told you that there was somebody out here who repented. At first they repented, right? Oh God, I'm not gonna do this no more, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what they did, right? And then somehow or some way, they ended up getting their hands back into the work that they had done. And as soon as they did that, that's when all the backfires just start triggering, and they start coming back and all that other stuff, right? That's because somebody made a promise to God that they would never do this again, and they ended up going back on their word for it, right? And so all the karma and all the backfires and reversals that was designed for, that was building up, it all that they were being saved from, it came caving down on them, right? A part of that was the loss of somebody in the spiritual community who was doing heavy work, right? And we call this person was there in the spirit realm. They will be like a python snake, which means that once they get a hold of something, they hold on to it and they're known to squeeze the life out of something until it's completely dead and consume it. This is somebody who is notoriously known for that kind of work, right? Well, by their carcass being in the tree, basically somebody, whoever they paid next, decided to revisit that work, whether they knew that's what they were doing or not. That's what they were doing, revisiting the work. So when they revisited the work, guess what? The same spirit that was on the person who passed was reborn. It had a cycle of rebirth. And now that spirit is back. It's back. It's back out there. Where it's at right now, honestly, I don't know. But I can, it's like, I know a couple of times when I went, when I went home or whatever, I could see where the energy is coming from based off of what corner had like some kind of vibration or spirit connected to it. It's not necessarily that they could invade into the space, but I could look, like, you know what I'm saying? I could look at my cameras right now and, at different angles of the house, and based off of which corner I'm looking at, that'll tell me what direction or who house, what direction, what they're sending, and what it's supposed to do. Because each direction coordinates to something. Every angle of the house is coordinated with something. So if you see something in the center of the house, that's definitely heart attack energy or something. You know what I'm saying? If you see something in the north corner, that has to do with like chaos and the 5 ghosts. If it has something to do with like the south and the east and the west, each direction has an energy that each spirit is attuned to. Okay? So basically off of that energy alone, right? this person decided to reinvigorate the work, okay? And now they just want to hear about it to see if it's working, right? But this is what we're going to do today. Today we are going to build a strategy, because the warfare that this person is waging, 9 times out of 10, there are others who are waging the same warfare. And I have an unorthodox way of addressing this, maybe not in my current situation, but for your situation, I'm pretty sure this is going to take them by storm. Okay, so I'm going to deliver to you the message of who you're dealing with, what their lineage is based off of, and what you can do in order to navigate and compile against this energy, or work against this work, okay? And if not, this is just giving you an idea of what you're going to be praying against, what you're going to be sending up your incense or whatever against, okay? Because each spirit that I'm going to talk about is not necessarily technically, it's spiritual, no doubt, but there's also extraterrestrial energy that's connected to it. In order, well, let's put it like this: I correlated to extraterrestrial DNA, which isn't going to make any sense right now, because that's the best way for me to break it down and analyze it for you guys and break it down for you guys. So today, I haven't even decided which deck I'm going to use, but I did roll the dice. There is 9 people involved. I did get that, 9 people involved, okay? The first number I got was 10, and then I got, what was that, 10 and 9, well, 10, 9, 1, and 2. So it has something to do with the skeletal system, integumentary system, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, 1, 2, yeah, that's 6, 7, 8, 9. The urinary tract and the digestive system are all under attack at this time, essentially, is what this will be, right? Urinary tract, digestive system, the skeletal system, and the integumentary system, which is what? The skin. Okay, so since that's the case, we have one lineage that is correlated with the Adelina. One is a mimic, which is an air spirit that shapeshifts, okay? It's formless, shapeless, but essentially it likes to hang out in corners, observe, and become the energy that you are looking for best. Then you have Greys, which are the intellects, and you have the Arcturians, which are people who astral project, operate in the ethereal realms, because essentially what happens is their bodies run off of a certain pH and octave, which allows them to emanate a certain kind of light in the spiritual realm, so that they can you know, remote view, that kind of thing, right? Okay, great. All right, so basically with the Greys, this has to do with the integumentary system, okay? So with the integumentary system with the Greys, you have they are translucent skin, emotion and blood pressure controlled, okay? These are people who have this tendency to have this unnatural control over their blood pressure system. So with that being said, when it comes to holding, not necessarily meditation, this will be a meditator. This is somebody that meditates, but they pay very close attention to their skin, and they are very sensitive to vegetation, plants, and flowers. So there's a chance that this person has eczema. Let's see what else we got here. Wow. So with the Arcturians, right? These generally go for androgynous energy, hermaphrodite androgynous energy. So this could be somebody who alternates between sexualities, essentially, is what this is, right? It's tied to the Venusian energy, essentially. So this person is governed by Venus, okay? Which means that if you have any pendants of Venus, that would generally protect you from this person's energy, because this is what they're governed by, okay? With the skeletal system here, they have a tendency to amplify. They are emotion oriented, okay? So basically with the Arcturian, if you are fighting someone who's an Arcturian, essentially what their goal would be is to get a reaction out of you, so that they can see what kind of light and they can see your light in the etherical realms. These are all emotion. This is an emotional based low vibrational energy here. What do we have? The digestive system. That'd be number 9, the mimic. The mimic, their nerves, they consume light and cloak themselves to hunt. So with this, there's something up with one set of the group. They have something wrong with their nervous system, but they don't understand essentially what it is. Now, when you are in a low vibration and you're not corresponding with the mimic energy or the mimic's diet, right? Your nerves start to react in a certain kind of way, which basically goes against what you normally do. So basically what this mimic is, it has this tendency to have control over its nerves or nervous system. And if you don't understand all of this, I'm going to tie everything all together at the end. But essentially with the mimic, its job is it changes its electrical charge inside of its body through the nerves. It has this unnatural connection to its nervous system, okay? And it controls its nervous system and adjusts it accordingly in order to basically consume light. So basically the opacity, they change their opacity. So let's say if you put a mimic in a room, they become what other people are projecting, and they eat off of other people's, whoever the people are. Like if I walk in a room and I'm confident, they'll see that, they'll observe that, and then they'll start feeding off that confidence and try to pretend in their mind that they are you, because essentially that's what the nerves does. The nerves controls like the thought process and the electrical discharges and stuff like that, and it assists with perception, right? So what's going to happen is this person walks in a room, they see you, and then all of a sudden they're shifting different parts of their nervous system around to adjust to your light so that they can come up to you, address you, and start feeding off your light to make it seem like you are one of a kind, so that they can consume and become what you are. And essentially what happens is when you invite mimics into your life, they're parasitic. They latch onto your light. Okay, they want to be, they pretend to be a like kind like you, to latch onto you and feed off of you until they can step over you. Essentially is what this is, and this is actually what's in the group. So next you have the digestive tract, right? Did I do the digestive? I did the endocrine system. I did their endocrine system. I did their nervous system. I did the skeletal system. I don't know if I did let me see if I did the digestive system. Okay. So I don't have the digestive system. However, I'm still going to go to the Adelina, right? So the Adelina essentially is just my clever way of naming a draconian type of worker. Okay, this is a person that works with cold. They works with the absorption of energy and heat. So essentially, if this person was to ward, what they do, they work with cold things. They erase things. Essentially, is the vibe that I'm getting here. So when you deal with a person like this, guess what they're doing? They're freezing things. They're binding things. This is a binder, essentially, right? This is a binder. This is a person who excels at binding, right? They have the same skin type and design as, like the Draconians. But the thing is that, matter of fact, I'll just read it what I have here. The same skin type, but designed for cold climates. Tighter pore pattern, okay? So definitely, because this person is more apt to using cold and stuff like that, your skin is going to be a lot paler. Whether this is a fair-skinned person or someone who just comes off as a pale energy. It's a pale energy, right? Close-knit pores. However, because of the cold that they're used to, they may even like the cold, but because of the cold that they're used to and that they work with every day, essentially what happens is they have a tendency to, that's essentially what assists them with their life force energy, is that adversity of being in the cold, essentially, right? Lighter, yeah, like I say, they're lighter in color and absorb less light. They absorb less light and UV radiation. Because of that, that's the alternative to it. So when you come in with your bright light and your optimism and things of that nature, it actually does wounding work to this Adeline energy, because essentially their skin isn't designed to handle high vibrational energies, or only to a certain extent, because they operate in the cold, essentially. So they have a UV radiation sensitivity, right? And it's because of the basal epidermis layer, which means that this person could have scars, or they are susceptible to sunburning. What do they call that? Sunburn, right? This could be somebody who uses a lot of UV and all that other stuff, right? Their skin can get scaly, pointy, sharp, and thick. That's one thing that you need to understand too, that they could also have a form of eczema in which there's parts or different places on them that comes off as scaly, thicker skin than normal, right? Let's see here. The function is, okay, so the function of their skin technically is it's for protection from UV light. So the eczema that they have and the skin disorders that they develop, rashes and stuff like that, whether it's easily or whatever it may be, it's designed as a defense mechanism to an excessive amount of light. So this person cannot be subjected to a strong stream of optimism or high vibrational energy for long periods of time, because what it do is start to harm the actual person because of who and what they are. Okay. Make better use of UV. They don't. Okay. So they have to find alternative ways to get the UV light. You know what I'm saying? These dragons are bred to protect treasures. Very intelligent. These dragons possess wisdom. Skin hardens as temps drop. So essentially, they dwell in low vibrational energies because that gives them permission to be the virtue. It gives them permission to, for the virtue of their skin to activate. And when I say the virtue, is pretty much like you being in your element, right? Not necessarily chaos, but low vibrational places is this person's element because it allows them to develop a thick skin for anything. You know what I'm saying? This person has a tendency to turn that little switch in your head that turns your emotions on and off. This person's prefer that the emotions are turned off. It's a preference. However, when you defeat a person like this, they guard a treasure, whether they know it or not. There's a spiritual treasure connected to this person, and I'm going to show you how to get it out of them. So, for those of you who like to perform magic and things of that nature, essentially, I do have a way to work through that kind of thing, because with this being ice, it kind of gives me the vibe of Mercury, because it kind of gives me the vibe of like Mercury energy, because it does absorb light, but there's only a certain amount of light that has the capacity to absorb. But anything that it touches, it kind of like consumes. Kind of like Mercury is the vibe that I'm getting here. So yeah, I'm going to go down a list because there's 9 people involved, but there's only 4 bloodlines here. All right. So let's start with the first. This reading might be long because there's actually 9 people here, but I'm going to try to shorten it to the best of my ability and just, scoot them all together so we can hit them all at one, right? All right, ancestors. Hang on. Alright, so let's see. Let's get our 9 cards out, and I'm going to show you the 9 people that are involved. And then I'm going to break them down into categories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it looks like 2 people are together. Okay. Everyone else almost looks like everybody else is pretty much separated or in different positions, whatever, right? So the first is the throne in reverse. We got the athlete in reverse, an ex-athlete. Somebody who used to run a company, somebody who used to be an athlete, somebody who used to be very spiritual and tapped in spiritually. This card has to be replaced, but I'm guessing this is somebody who pretends to be woke. I hate that. Somebody who is actually a mother and her child. There's a mother and her child here. The child has mental issues, whoever this is. There's a child here with mental issues. Then you have a nomophobe. This is somebody who is addicted to social media, what people think, what people say, and getting the latest tea and gossip. This is a masculine. But when he looks in the mirror, he tries to pretend to be a woman. And then you have, what is this? The signs. I'm not sure exactly. You know what? Off the top of my head, first energy that I get is basically somebody who is definitely promiscuous, like to like deal with a lot of people kind of vibe, but a low budget promiscuous person is the vibe I'm getting here. And then you got these two here, which is basically someone who wants to be a therapist, someone who's trying to save a hoe, basically. Yeah, you got a person who's trying to save a hoe, a therapist, and you know, a woman who's infatuated with herself. I guarantee you that this right here is the Adelina. This one and this one, these two right here. The one who used to be an athlete and this girl right here. Those are the ones that I think for sure, that's the vibe that I get with them. So this is gonna be my draconian energy right here. That's gonna be my powerful draconians, right? And then what do we have here? We had the grays. So remember I told you that the grays was an intellectual type? You got these two here. So these are gonna be in a gray group. And then you have the Arcturians. Arcturians have to do with light. These three are all Arcturians. And then this is a nobody here. This isn't connected to a lineage per se, but the one who pretends to be woke, that one has to do with, let me see here. The mimic. That's the mimic. No, this is the mimic. That's the transsexual there. Unless they share the same bloodline. They might share the same bloodline, where it's half mimic and half Arcturian. But it kind of give me the vibe of a mimic. And then you have one person here that isn't connected to any bloodline at all. They're just overlooking, overseeing, pretending to be on a fake throne, essentially, right? So now let's get a, now that we have that all situated, now let's look at the plot and the plan. And then we're gonna go from there. So you got the ex-athlete and the selfie lady. The person that's obsessed with themselves. That's Adeline, the Draconians, right? You got the spirit of the river in reverse, the beloved in reverse, and the galactic mushroom, okay? Then you have the next group, which are going to be my grays, mindful, detox, benefactor, and then you have my mimics. Winter Dream, Overflow, and Netcaster in reverse. Okay. And then you have my Arcturians. I'm gonna compile it, and then you have the one who doesn't have a connection to a bloodline here, which is possible because sometimes you get new souls. You know what I'm saying? Or yeah, sometimes you just get new souls. So the agenda of the Adelinas, the ones who are connected to the Draconians, right? There's the spirit of the river in reverse, the beloved in reverse, and the galactic mushroom in reverse. This has to do with submission. There was some kind of spell work connected to submission that went to a water deity. That kind of gives me the vibe of Olokun, or even could be either Olokun or Osun. It doesn't have to be them, but it is definitely a river spirit, okay? Definitely a river spirit. I know Olokun is the sea, the deep sea, but I don't know why I was called to say that, but there it is, right? So this deer been working with water and fire, earth, water, and fire, okay? This is what they've been using or whatever. So the athlete and the one who is obsessed with the selfie, right? It looks like, yeah, this is pretty much to slow down your emotion. It's kind of like to slow, it just give me the vibe of like trying to like hinder you, basically. It's not that it's kind of like they want to do some kind of, I don't know if it's a love spell or euphoria spell, something about euphoria, where it's like they're slowing you down, but they want you to be in a blissful, euphoric kind of feeling as they slow you down, in order to make it seem like you're moving, but you're walking in place, essentially. So it's kind of like not necessarily an illusion, because an illusion is visual, right? This is more of a disillusion in which it is sensory. It's a sensory spell, or some kind of sensory work that they've been trying to get to stick or work on you. So be aware of your senses. If you ever get the working or something like that, and all of a sudden you just find yourself wasting time, stuff like that, this is a part of what the agenda is against you. Next, we have the therapist, and we have this spirit guide in reverse. These are two separate worlds because they represent the left and the right brain. One represents creativity and the other represents the logic. You see what I'm saying? So they may even be the ones doing and responsible for spell work, in which the therapist is suggesting different mind games and things like that to play, or intellectual games to play for this spirit guide, or this person who used to be someone's spirit guide. This person used to be somebody's spirit guide, but once they got caught up in this kind of situation, it kind of flipped their energies in reverse, which means that they are now in their south node energy, right? And you know what happens when you're in your south node energy? You are working against the grain of your soul. And when you work against the grain of your soul, you create resistance, just like if you were in a circuit, like in an electrical circuit. That's what resistors does. It creates friction for energy to go through in order to slow it down. And that's what's going on here. It looks like there's a relay situation here in which this therapist or this intellectual is passing on information to this spiritualist, this this spiritualist to do. It's like being it's a puppeteer energy, okay? Basically a puppet. What this person can't do is what they're telling this person to do. And this person goes in and out of the spiritual realms through by way of the eastern gate. No, the western, is it the western gate? This person comes in through the western gates. That's to do with emotion. Remember I told you that there was one group in here that needs emotion in order to, tap in and all that good stuff. I believe it was the Greys, if I'm not mistaken. Because, let me see here. Let me verify before I just go off on it. Because I did which one. Did the skeletal system with the Greys. Yeah, it protects the nervous system. Yeah. Yeah, processes and blocks. I mean, use skeleton to tap into energies, processes and blocks energy. That's what they do. They block energy, like I said, with this energy here, though. But in order to get into your energy, they need an anchor. They need something to, like a portal or doorway, which essentially it's not necessarily your emotions, but it's the response of your nervous system. Essentially, your nervous system has a certain way that it responds or oscillates, which changes the way that your auric field change colors and all that other stuff. That's what they're going for. It's not necessarily just emotion. It's a nervous system reaction that they're trying to get out of you. Okay, and once they do that, whatever this therapist comes up with the number 15, this 15 is the devil. Okay, in modern tarot, it's the devil card, right? So this person could be a Capricorn or an earth sign male who wants to play this kind of game, kind of give me like a feminine male. Maybe not, but he's definitely a feminine male, right? Yeah, but he's feeding these lines to this spiritualist, and essentially has to do with mindful, detox, and benefactor. This person wants you to daydream, but not cleanse your energy. They want you to see all these beautiful things, possibilities. They're curious about all the beautiful possibilities and things that is occupied in your mind or your mental space, or where your mind going, your mental, if there's mental work being done, they like going into your energy and looking at all the possibilities of what's really on your mind. So that's their job. Their job is to attack the mind, see what's in the mind, what's on the mind, what's around the mind, and how the mind is affected. You see what I'm saying? But whatever energy is there, the rule that they have to abide by is that they can never, basically, they have to keep the pressure on you at all times. Because once you clear this energy out, this therapist's job depends on what? The mind. So once you clear, even if you just clear the mental aspect of this workout, it's going to affect his mind. And if she's tapping into his energy telepathically, there's a chance that she can pick up on that too, because it's going to backfire to one of them. Whether it's going to backfire on her for doing the work, and she could sign contracts and say, oh, my ancestors, or I've done it, but by the grace of God, it's not going to work like that. It's going to hit one of their minds. And if it hit both of their minds, it's going to hit the right side of his mind and the left side of hers. Her mind, in which for her to travel into gates and stuff like that, is going to be hit. And his ability to travel logically and, you know what I'm saying, map out things logically is going to be hit. So now all of a sudden he's going to be having brain farts, and she's going to be stuck in energetic places and spaces, which she's probably already trapped in an energetic place or space now. But that's why they're trying to keep you from meat toxin, because they're kind of giving a vibe that they're trying to unload all their energy onto you to see how you handle it. Or not even just to see how you handle it, but because that's the agenda. Unload energy on you, but restrict you from being able to release it. Next, you have benefactor, grace and generosity. So yes, they're going to try to, it's going to be a blend. It's not always heavy or dark energy that they work with. They're actually trying to work with a lighter energy to get you in this whimsical energy in which you are less likely to clear the energy. Where it's like one person go and do all this dark work and stuff on you, but you're caught up in this euphoric energy in which you think everything is going good, it's going smooth, and then you start letting your guard down, and then that's how they're going to start trying to attach it to you mentally first. Well, actually in the mental realm. You see what I'm saying? Because you already got these guys over here trying to attack the heart space. So it kind of gives me a vibe of a four-layer attack. One layer is supposed to attack you spiritually. One layer is, well, they already did the work spiritually together. Okay, what they want to attach. But then you got one group that's attacking you mentally to weaken your mind, to make you susceptible to the work. Then you got one person attacking your emotions to make you feel like it's working, so that it'll manifest physically on your realm. You see what I'm saying? So they're trying to take spell work and force, and by force, walk it down into your life. If that makes any sense. Because essentially, the way that Hermeticism works is like everything starts in the mind. The mind is all is mind, right? You first, what you think becomes what you say. What you say is what you believe, and what you believe is what you do, and what you do becomes a habit, and your habits develop your character. And that's exactly what this is all about, mentally. Someone is trying to do mind control to control what you think, so that they essentially have control over what you say and what you speak into existence, so that they control what you believe about yourself and about other people, and to help feed the work that they're doing. So then you'll be acting accordingly, which falls into the plan. And then eventually you develop this character that aligns with the lies that they spoke against your life. You see how that works? Okay. Next, we got the transsexual, the one who is sent to basically gather information, watch you. So yeah, this is somebody who's designed to watch you, right? Their only goal is, well, not only goal, but essentially they are like the watcher, essentially, right? The mimic. This is why they put the mimic in this quadrant, because this person shapeshifts according to the environment. Where you have some people who shapeshift, like there's three different shapeshifters here. There's people who shapeshift on a personal level in order to get good with people and parasitic feed off of them. That's the mimic, right? Parasitically feed off of them. There's people who like to blend in with groups. You see what I'm saying? And then there's people who like to blend in with environments. This person here was sent to blend in into the environment, to blend into the corners of your life. You see what I'm saying? To watch, to make sure that everything is going the way it's supposed to be, almost like a supervisor, right? This person's job right here is to make sure that the bindings that they put on you doesn't break. Yes, this person's job is pretty much like the overseer, essentially. And they want to make sure that the bindings that they put on you doesn't break. You remember the last time I did this video about that lady who did the binding work? I told you about the binding work, how she tried, I don't know what they did. It's like they put some stuff around like a doll or something, and they like winched it down real hard so that everything was pressing down on this person, or like on the doll really hard and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden there was like something changed, where all of a sudden the lady who was doing it was in the very chains that she projected out. That's this energy here. This person is trying to be very careful to keep, they're trying to do the bandit work, but they're trying to do everything that they can to keep it from backfiring. Very slowly but surely, it is backfiring. It is reversing with the Netcaster here, because Netcaster here has to do with preparations coming to fruition. Everything that this person had done in the past had not worked. So now this person is collected like a Ocean's 11 kind of thing, right? Ocean's 9, basically. You know what I'm saying? Which is stupid, but here we are, right? You got overflow, and you got winter's dream, gestation period. Yes, this person tried to stop you from bringing your manifestations into existence here. They know that you're entering into an energy of overflow. So what are they doing? They're trying to keep conflict in your life so it halves your energy, where only half of your energy is being able to go towards your creativity and creative flow. And then the other half is supposed to be towards fighting them, fighting yourself, fighting. And that's essentially what this was designed to do, to keep you in a fighting energy so that now you're too busy fighting instead of creating or doing what you're supposed to do, or doing what, or taking advantage of your overflow. So now we have the woman, I would say the mother figure with the child with the mental disorder or whatever. Or this could be an adult who never developed past a certain stage in her life. One theory that I have is, like, a lot of times when we come across people who act childish and stuff like that, they usually have a trauma that happened in their lifetime, and they never grow out. They never grow past that trauma. Which means, like, if it happens at 15, they stay 15 forever. That's just kind of like a theory that I had about that. But yes, this is somebody like that. If not, they have a daughter that has a mental disorder in some way, shape, or form. And this person, yeah. And then you have this person who claimed to be woke. With this woke energy, it just kind of gives me the vibe that somebody who think that they're well versed about something, but in reality they just Google everything all day. Is the vibe I'm getting here. It's kind of giving me like a female that just Googles fact checks everything about everybody because they want to be quote unquote woke, but in reality they don't understand that the internet has many sources. Just because they're cited on the internet, I could make an internet page right now and people will believe it's credible because it's an internet page, and they will quote me without actually checking the bibliography and getting the sources, or going directly to the sources, because a lot of those sources lead to, you know, some books, and then you got to check the credibility of the person who wrote the book, you know, and see, you know, how credible it is and things of that nature. Then you have the signs in reverse here. This has to do with that one woman who I was telling about. They kind of give me the vibe of somebody who's just like promiscuous, but it also gives me the vibe of somebody, this group here, they're not seeing the sign that it's time to change or move on from something. This definitely has to originate from the original work or whatever. And these very well could be, I don't know if you guys listen to other readers or whatever, they talk about 3 sisters or 3 threes and threes. This very well could be those 3 right here, in which one person is refusing to change and walk away, the other one refusing to wake up to what's going on around them, and the other one is refusing to see the signs, blind, deaf, and dumb. You see what I'm saying? And there probably could have been some spell work that they tried to send to you, and which you're blind. You can't see past what, you know, you can't see the signs, right? You're deaf, which means that you think you're awake, but you're not. I mean, transformation in reverse, where you're refusing to make the necessary changes because of pride, wounds, and pride and things of that nature. You're not listening to what people are telling you, or listen to what's going on, and then dumb. You're just believing whatever. So yes, it definitely given the vibe of blind, deaf, and dumb. Somebody tried to do some kind of work to strike you blind, deaf, and dumb. And the very people who tried to strike you blind, deaf, or dumb, the whole point of that is this. Look, surrender in reverse. They didn't want to let go. Sky Dancer. Then you got the Watcher. That's what, transpersonal. And then you got the wall obstacles here. So yes, this whole point of them was to try to block you from connecting to your higher self in order to, you know, to transform into your full version. Like, it's one thing to try to block you mentally. It's one thing to try to block your heart space. But these people, they want to block you actually growing, or the path that you would, you know, take to grow. It's kind of like they wanted to keep throwing obstacles in your way, in your path, to make it seem like you're not growing when in reality you are. It's kind of like a plant that's been drinking water for a long period of time. Like, one day I hope I'll grow, and then everybody's looking at it like, you're a whole fucking tree. Your roots are so deep Why can't you see that about yourself? It's kind of like, you know, and then all of a sudden you just, you know, in that mentality that, oh, I gotta grow, I gotta grow, I gotta grow, I gotta grow. When in reality, you've already bloomed with the watcher here. And they've been watching this. They watched you grow. The walls and the obstacles, that's what they've been occupied about. Throwing you into walls and obstacles, but not just any kind of walls and obstacles with the number 56 here. These are obstacles that are unorthodox. Like isolating you from everybody and putting you in situations in which most people would need somebody to get out of it. You see what I'm saying? They need, if they were in this situation, they would need everybody, like right now, like this. They're trying to rob, steal, hurt, destroy, break down, break the pride of, steal from, get locked up, kill, take out for money, for insurance purposes, cover up their tracks about, you know, criminal involvement. They're trying to do all this stuff, right? But they're doing it as a group. Whereas somebody like you, and I'm not condoning it, but somebody like you, there's a chance that you wouldn't have had to use all these people to navigate through the situation that they're in. You didn't need that many people. You've done a lot more than these people with less. You see what I'm saying? You got surrender in reverse here, yeah. So their goal is to keep you from stop fighting or surrendering. Their goal is to keep you fighting with yourself and not surrendering to the universe. That's what the goal here was with them. And then you have the person who is on the throne in reverse here. This is a person who's trying to keep hidden, right? In reality, this is a mother, parenthood. This is a well-kept woman, right? Well-kept woman who tried to hide herself, right? And I guess she thought that I wasn't going to pull on her and it was going to be, oh, it's just a missing person. You thought wrong. Look at that. Wheel of Fortune out here. This person wants your Wheel of Fortune. It's something about your luck. This person will either want to stop your Wheel of Fortune or it's something about your luck that they were trying to change. They're trying to change your luck. Kind of give me the vibe of reconciliation here with the Wailing Tree. You got the Garden of Venus here. And you got the Wheel of Fortune here. Whoever this person is, this woman, and I guarantee you she's the one who paid everybody to do this. She did all this shit because she married somebody and realized she didn't want them and that you are the Wheel of Fortune. You're the one that she really loves and that she wants to reconcile with you. You see what I'm saying? But when you are a person with power and or money or status, it will make you feel or look weak. You see what I'm saying? So with this person, their whole goal was to change your fortune around. Change who you love and put you in a weak position in which you are willing to reconcile with them or anybody that do you wrong. That was the goal, right? So now, even though it's at the end of the video, let's go ahead and let's counter this right quick, right? All right, I'll just slap some stuff together because I know it's gonna work. All right, let's see here. So I just pulled some random cards and we're just gonna put what's the name together with that. These are some things you need to take in consideration for each group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna pull 2 more. 8. And then this one here, 9. Okay. So I'm gonna put 2 on each one, right? Mix them up. I'm gonna put 2 on each one, and then we're gonna develop a system based off of that. This is kind of stupid. This was like very much a waste of my time. I don't know why. I got 3 in this group. 1, 2, and 3. And then I got what? 1 here. So I should have 2 there. I got 1 in that group, so I should have 2 there. I got 2 in this group, so I said 1, 2. That's 4 there. And then the last 2 are over here with the extra one. All right, so with the first group, it has to do with keep you in that love, euphoric kind of energy or whatever. Essentially, this is the information that comes out. I am different now, okay? Then it says, always give it your all. There's a grown man throwing like a kid. What is this? The Eight of Cups here. We got the TP out here. We got you killed it. We got FBI out here, FBI agent. And we also have, I want to tell you so much, or they're basically trying to keep it secret because it's in reverse. So with this group is already defeated, essentially, right? The FBI is currently investigating these people already. This first group, the first two, right? There's an investigation. It's probably an investigation spread through the whole group already. So you really don't have to do too much with them. Just focus on your home. And whatever, I think you did like a reversal or something like that. When you did that reversal, these two right here were overwhelmed completely. And they, you know, yeah, that is what overwhelmed them. So whatever they tried to do is down at this current time. Now you have the those who are playing mind games, the professional and the spiritualist. First thing I got out here is I was careless with you. Yeah, I lost myself for a little while. And last but not least, I hit your car and I'm pretending to write my info because people are watching me. Hope you can fix it. Good luck. Last but not least, King of Swords, Gemini. That masculine definitely gives me the energy of a Gemini. Yeah. Gemini is also correlated to magic, Mercury. That's why I said there was like a Mercurian energy here, right? Yeah. So basically this person, these two, doing this mental work or whatever, they started losing parts of their own psyche, doing this work on you. Essentially, it got to the point where they became obsessed with how you piece things together, that they tried to do it themselves, and it drove them into different rabbit holes. Two separate rabbit holes. One rabbit hole has to do with logic. It has to do with mathematic applications and correlating things together, right? Then the other one, the spiritualist, she started visualizing different connections in the cosmos with spirituality, right? But the thing is, if you don't have a correct limit or barrier to it, guess what happens? You never turn it off and it just keeps roaming. What do we call that? We call that insanity. It's not apparent now, but as you can tell, because they can't stop at this point, it says that I lost myself for a little while. I was careless with you kind of vibe. And I'm just pretending like I'm, writing my information or whatever, pretending essentially. So basically it's saying that if this person is ever given a chance to continue, they will. What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing and getting the same results over and over again. The insanity isn't going to be apparent right now, but essentially that's what it's leading up to. It's going to lead to one of them having the insanity, logic insanity, in which they have to see the mathematical equations and everything. They have to, everything has to make sense. Anything that's illogical to them, their mind is automatically trained to make sense of it because of what they've been experiencing through your energy. Now that you can back up and you pull your energy back, it's like having a circuit it's like having a computer that requires 10 volts to be on, to be running off of 120 volts. What did that do? It overheats the component. It burns it out, which means that there's a chance that these people are experiencing mental burnout and they don't realize why. It's because when they try to go to sleep at night, their mind is still on, trying to figure out and correlate different things together, especially with the spell work they have been doing. And this person, they're not sorry at all, and that's so you're going to have to be okay with them not being sorry. They're only pretending to try to make things right and trying to make things better right now because they know that they're being observed, which correlates back to the FBI situation where it says that they're under investigation. But these people know that they're under investigation and that other people are watching. Right? Then you got the person that's actually watching you, right? I won't cry for you. And their hidden truth, I can't stop thinking about you. This is somebody who is either bisexual. This is somebody who is androgynous in some way, shape, or form. But essentially, this person is obsessed with you. This person could have done some kind of sex work or sex spell on you. And then when it didn't work, or they probably got jealous because somebody did a love spell on you and it may have worked for a little bit. And then what they did, they went behind that person and did like a breakup spell because they were jealous about it. Like, why does this person think they're so good or better than me? You see what I'm saying? Which caused the backfire for that other person. But guess what? This person went back and tried to do what that other person did. And guess what? it backfired on them too. So now, not only is this person obsessed, they also have the other person who formerly did the spell work obsessed too, which very well could have been that couple that was up front. The love magic that this person couldn't do, they probably passed it on to these other two people to do. That masculine and feminine. And they're under investigation. And then this person right here, they hate the fact that they can't stop watching you. It's probably because they did some kind of obsession spell that backfired, essentially. So yes, when it comes to this kind of work, and true enough, I know everything is coming up like, oh, everything is already solved. True enough, but whatever defense magic that you're doing, continue to do that. And when I say that the FBI is watching, that is not to be scared or upset, because it's like this. If you already been doing everything right anyway, you ain't got nothing to be afraid of. That's why, you know, a lot of times they talk about, oh, the police investigating and this and this. I don't get scared because, you know, whatever they find out, they find out. If it's real, if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not finna live my life all scared and shit like that. I'm not finna do that. And neither should you. Neither should you. If you've been living your life right and piously, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Just keep living your life. A lot of them investigators, they need vacations anyway, because that's what they do. They just sit there and watch people all day. They don't get to go home and be with their kids and shit like that. So when they get targeted, like say if it is you and you didn't do anything and it's a target like you give them a chance to chill out for a minute. That's gonna be their break. That's their break. Let them get paid to do nothing for a little bit. Let them get paid to do nothing. If they find something, they find something. But I mean, hell, there ain't nothing you can do about it, because there's, in reality, at the end of the day, there's people out here who make something wrong in order to get you in. We've seen that in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So hey, whatever it is, like, you know, yeah, let them do their investigation. And you know, these people all these people that's already on the list, they already know they're under investigation. At least the first couple. This is the first person who investigation didn't come up for. This person is watching. They're trying to watch and not get their hands involved. You know what I'm saying? Because they was doing spell work maybe before the investigation and they stopped or something like that. But yeah, everybody else, those other four people are under investigation right now. Then you got these three down here. You got powerful, physical, nervous, sales, agent, coach, banker, entrepreneur, flute, throat, third house, second house. Has to do with like a Taurus and a Gemini energy. Something about a speaker, somebody who speaks. Ratio. They've been losing something here. Ratio. There's it's kind of like, give me the vibe that remember I told you that they've been throwing obstacles in your way and they're trying to block your way from being the best version of yourself and things of that nature. Well, as a result, it's dividing their foundation, whatever this is. It's dividing their foundation. So every time they send spell work towards you or speak ill will towards you, it divides something off of their life. I don't know what ratio this could be. It could be a 3.14 ratio. It could be a 1.618 ratio. It could be a 1-to-1 ratio, 1-to-2 ratio. Well, it'd be like 1-to-2 ratio, or whatever the ratio actually is. But they are noticing it physical, tangible things in their life is disappearing. They notice that things that aren't necessarily physical and tangible, like their nerves, are being unnerved, right? If they sell things, they're noticing that they're selling less than what they normally do. If they coach, they're noticing that people are coming to them less. If they're a banker, people are dealing, less with their energy. People are basically slowly but surely not dealing with these people like they used to. And you're being called to do the same. If these are people who are physically in your environment, deal with them less and less until you cut them completely off. And you're being told to do less and less, and that's for a reason. If you just cut them off cold turkey, there's a chance that you go straight back. But if you do less and less, it'll start being felt. You want that knife, when you put that knife in, you want to twist it by doing less and less and less until you disappear. You see what I'm saying? Also, you have the Hermit card in reverse here. And you have the Star card out here. Yeah, somebody, oh shoot, okay. So somebody wanted to keep you, basically, this is a lot of trying to keep things from coming out kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying, with this Hermit out here. This could be somebody who is a writer, a Virgo possibly, or some kind of writer, a healer, somebody who does spiritual work or writes spiritual books and stuff like that, or deal with some kind of spiritual teachings in some way, shape, or form. And then they try to take what they learn and bring it into the outside world. So this very well could have been somebody who was taking your wisdom of spirituality and taking it to the outside world, trying to get paid off of it, which is why those other two people are losing their mind, because of the way that you connect the dots to different things, and then you just turn it off. These people, they can't turn it off. Even right now, I can hear it, where I ain't gonna say hear, I'm gonna feel it, where this person is thinking about different stuff in terms of like how they could correlate different stuff, and their mind is almost rambling. So when they go to bed, guess what? Their energy. Let's say if you need to be on a certain wave, let's say 98 hertz, you're on a 98 hertz wave to sleep, to rest. Their mind is on like 150 octaves or 150 hertz, 310 hertz, 690 hertz. And it just keep escalating until they're thinking about all these foreign concepts. You know what I'm saying? They're thinking about all these foreign concepts and trying to compile it into spirituality or the job that they do, because they saw how this person was watching you and learned this and that from you to make money. Now they're all trying to learn that to make money, basically, right? But it's sending these people into rabbit holes. So make sure you take the time to turn your mind off. Do something that is frivolous. Do something that doesn't hold too much weight. You know, they're going to try to do the same, but let's see how that works out for them. You got the star card out here: public service, internet, music, film, entrepreneur. Yeah, there's somebody also here who wanted to keep this silenced out of the, they don't want this to come out in the public. They don't want it on the internet. They don't want it to come out in music, film. They don't want this to come out at all. Could be even a blogger involved, a conspiracy theorist. I'm seeing Russia involved some kind of way, Poland, Sweden. Masculine energy. Has to do with luck. So yeah, somebody wants you to not use your luck or something of that nature, or they don't want lucky things to happen to you. They could have probably even tried to jinx your path or jinx your growth. But with that right there, you know, by you knowing, you know, now you know what to pray against and what to, what to pray against. Yeah, pray against that. Not only pray against it, but, protect yourself from that. A lot of times, once you hear it spoken to you, it gives you, it causes you to think of ways to avoid it and to dodge it, in terms of like figure out plans on the fly to adjust and move around, right? Yeah, so then you got this person who, I guess this is the person, the boss behind the whole thing, right? She does have a badge, so I'm pretty sure she used this badge to punch in somewhere or something of that nature. Something about her just having a new baby. She could have just had a new baby. What is that, a remote control? Yeah, she controls things from the background, but she trying to make it seem like she's not. She's trying to make it seem like that she's living like a normal life, like a mother. But in reality, she's the one behind the whole situation. And everybody up under her is being investigated, but she's trying to avoid that investigation. She wants this to stick and stay, but she don't want the investigation connected to it. You got the number 23, 25, and 59. 23 has to do with a breakthrough here. Yes, this person did spell work against your breakthrough, your financial breakthroughs. 25, the innocence or your rest and renewal, in terms of you being, viewed in a certain light, or the innocence about your light. This person wanted to skew it and make it seem like you're this demon or whatever it may be. And then you also have well and tree and reconciliation, 59. This person want to make it seem like you're the problem, so that you will bow down to them like everybody else does and reconcile with them for something you're not even responsible for to begin with. So this is somebody who likes it when people pay homage to them, essentially. But at the end of the day, who are you that I must pay homage to? Like, who are you? You don't pay homage to yourself. If you pay homage to yourself, you wouldn't have to do this dark, nasty work to try to, make it seem like you are important some kind of way. This is somebody who doesn't have they might have power or pull, but when you make weak moves like this, it reveals your weaknesses. And this person has this weakness of not feeling like they can control or empower in some kind of way. But this person wanted to say, I never used to look at you in that way. And then unless you got 2 of Pentacles out here. So this person may look like they're all put together with Capricorn here, but they're actually struggling and balancing out their finances here. They're trying to keep their finances under balance. Something about your ancestors fighting a Capricorn. This person could very well be a Capricorn, right? But this Capricorn opened up some kind of can of worms or tried to tap into something of yours. And when they tried to tap in, your ancestors responded. Something about professions involving literacy, literary. So this person could be a writer. This person could be a published author. This could be somebody who does, books or whatever, right? Movies, whatever. This person does whatever they do a lot of multitasking. They could be a gamer or they are a gambler. They could even very well be an entertainer or a performer or even just a receptionist, right? But they carry this masculine energy and they have this way of trying to be connected into everything by lending their ear. They use their appearance to get people to let their guard down and to, tap into things. With a person like this, you're going to have to use an illusion spell for sure. You're going to have to use an illusion spell. If you ever feel yourself being in an illusion, sometimes it's best to cast an illusion on yourself to remember that you're not an illusion or that you can do it, That's something that they don't necessarily teach you in certain books, right? They always teach you about protecting yourself from other people, but they don't teach you the fact that originally when we create illusion spells or whatever, it was more designed for people who had mental disorders and stuff like that, and they struggled in society, okay? So we would put illusions over there, put illusions over their mind to help them find the demonic force or the demons that was tormenting them, especially after war, which is why in Africa they had it where you had to live with after you go to war, you had to live with a shaman. And the reason why is for PTSD reasons, for them to do spiritual work on you, to cleanse your spirit of spiritual stuff. Illusions was designed to bring out those spiritual demonic forces that is resting in you that you would normally kind of hide or run from or you know what I'm saying, that kind of thing, right? It was designed to be medicine. So as an illusion can be put on you, it can also be used to be taken off of you too. It's medicinal. It's not black magic like you think. It's only black magic when you use it that way. So just like how they try to train you or try to do spell work on you to make you believe that you can't, you can do that same illusion, spell work, mirror work, or whatever to make it where you can. Same thing, if you were into that kind of thing. If not, you can always just continue to pray, and continue to do your return to senders, and just don't let up. You know what I'm saying? Just don't let up. Just keep at it and just keep at it and keep at it if that's what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Some people, you can return the illusions to sender. You can return the disillusions to sender. Return the agenda of the enemy to the sender. And the original energy wrapped in the original intentions that it was sent out towards you as. And by the grace of God, it shall be so. Because you get a lot of people out here who will be like, hey, I was trying to help them. I was doing a sympathetic magic on them to help them because they're so evil. When in reality, they're paying people to do love spells on you because they want you to be submissive like that Capricorn who likes to control things. Capricorn, well, not all of them, but them karmic ones, they have this inner just drive to control things. They can be very controlling if they're on the dark end of the spectrum. All right, that's all I got. And essentially, like I say, if you're going to navigate against this wisdom or whatever, I would suggest illusion work, or I would even suggest that you do a return. You can keep doing a return to senders, keep cleansing your energy and doing return to senders, but this just gives you an insight on what you're actually returning to sender. You can incorporate these kind of agendas, but just know that do your best to just remember that the FBI is involved in the situation, and there's a federal agency that's investigating them right now. So if they ramp up the attacks and stuff like that, it's to make it seem like you're involved. You know what I'm saying? It's to make it seem like you're involved too, because they know that they can't beat you. So, and it's just like in the Bible for all my people who are, all my Christians. It's like, in the Bible, it talks about how almost every prophet was lied. Basically, it's like this in the Bible. Almost every prophet in the Bible, they had a hater, okay? And what the hater does is, when the hater do all this kind of stuff towards them first, and when it doesn't work, what do? They go to an authority figure, and they remind the authority figure of some kind of law or jurisdiction or whatever. And that person may see you, and they might find favor with you. Like, oh, I kind of like this person. You know what I'm saying? But if this did happen, the law is the law, and I have to enforce the law. Right? So the goal right now is to make it line up with what they lied or what they said about you, so that this person have to lock you up or do whatever. But when that happens, God has another blessing in disguise, and it comes on through. And he never does the same blessing twice. Where do we see that in the Bible? We saw that with, who was that? Was that Ezra? Ezra, who her uncle was the Jews were getting ready to be killed because a slave driver didn't like the uncle, because the uncle didn't bow down to him like everybody else did. You know what I'm saying? We saw that also with Jesus Christ. With Jesus Christ, he really didn't commit a sin. In reality, Pontius Pilate didn't find anything wrong with Jesus at all. And he was like, there's no reason for me to lock this man up if he didn't do anything. But what they did get Jesus for is civil unrest, because so many people was upset about the rumors and the stuff like that was done. So the civil unrest part, which Jesus did not create, is what caused Pontius Pilate to turn him over to the church and have the church and foreigners do with them as they will. And that's how it, went down. All right, that's all I got. Y'all take it easy. I love y'all all, and peace.